PST Bet is now available in Namibia, Botswana, and DRC, bringing you the thrill of sports betting to you. From the biggest football matches to high-speed action with Aviator, My Lucky Six, and casino games, we bring you non-stop excitement at your fingertips. Enjoy cash back and cash out, giving you more control over your bets. Live betting on your favorite sports with real-time action and instant wins. Sign up today and start winning. PST Bet, you play, we pay.
3, 2, 1, rolling.
Good day and welcome to yet another edition of Game Time with Marco. Thank you for staying tuned to our channel. For those of you that haven't liked and subscribed to on our channel on YouTube, please do so. And for those of you that have been watching our videos, we appreciate your comments, both on Facebook and here on YouTube. We shall continue to strive to bring you the latest in terms of Namibian football. Our last episode, we spoke about the girls, that is the beauty football team that went to play football in South Africa in the COSAFA CAF Champions League qualifier. Yeah, and they performed very well. I mean, they did win a match and they did come through and, they were knocked out in the first round, but valuable experience gained there. And also Stella Fredericks coming through and being the oldest player to participate in the Champions League in Africa at 47 years of age. What an achievement by Namibia. But today, that's not what we are talking about. Today, we are talking about something different. We are talking about young Africans who are going to be participating in the Confederation Cup this year. They will be representing Namibia. I think it's the first time in over 15 to 20 years that Namibia has a team participating in the CAF Confederations Cup. Not the Champions League, but the CAF Confederation Cup, which is the second tier of African football tournaments. And big ups to Young African and their management for taking up this space and making sure that they keep exposing Namibian players to international football. And joining me today in the studio, it's none other than the charismatic owner, chairman, and coach, Marley Ngarizemo. Marley, thank you for joining us, and it's a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thanks, Marco. I'm happy to be here.
You don't look happy. Is it the stress of?
No. I'm very fine. It's just me.
I thought maybe
morning hours.
It's the stress of organizing such a big tournament, organizing the team and trying to push them for such a big tournament. But we'll get to that. So Marley, let's get into it. I think a lot of people know about your football history, but just to give us a reminder, just tell us when you started football, where you played, which clubs you played for, your Brave Warriors journey. I think at one point in time you're captain of the Brave Warriors.
Yeah, no, Marco, I think there was now 3 weeks ago an article from Safari.
Yes.
Conrad Angola about also my football journey, but yes, I am a born and bred young man from the Omaheke region, the Kettle region, as they say. I grew up in Hobawes, that's where I went to school with my mother. That's the person that brought me up to what I am today, and we're still living together up to date at 81 years now that my mother is. So
wow, that's massive.
Yeah, it's massive. It's just that my dad is late now through the coronavirus that came here. I started football at a very early age. It's from primary schools when the world was so good, I would say, because then there was a lot of love amongst everyone, amongst parents to kids, even if they were not their biological kids. You cannot remember, even at the primary schools, the people like Mr. Kashiova, Mr. Nzanup, Mr. Hopechap, Mr. Pochisho, and all those to mention but few. These are the people that really took care of us, that looked after us, that made sure football was played at that level or at that age at the time. And then we went on to the secondary school where we had the likes of Mr. Shuapala Uitele, Mr. Cross Morangi, the current governor of our mighty region, Mr. Honorable Pio Ganate, and the likes. So we played, and then luckily at the time, most schools, football was very competitive because then it had its own clubs within the school also that were competing every Wednesday or so. So it was very nice, and this bettered us very much. And at the time also there was the Coca-Cola Cup that was played, that was mostly won by Seidera School, that had the Lolos, the Polki Bonstander at the time. So these are the competitions that were at that time, and we grew up through this. And then I went on to play for, because when I'm still a desert rollers, though some don't appreciate or don't want to accept that. I'm a born and bred desert rollers from my younger age. This is the team that inspired me, and I used to travel at all their matches. At the time when I was young, taken Mr. Waitele will never leave me when the team is playing. I was responsible for making sure the kids and stuff are ready. So I was part of that team from that age, and then I went to play for Maroon Brothers, because at school now Mr. Murangi took over and he was also coaching Maroon, so he influenced me a bit. Then I went to play there a bit before going back to Desert Rollers, and then eventually I joined Medai Chiefs, which was also a very good team run by the late Rudolf Boitile. May his soul rest in peace. He was also a very good leader at our club that time, and I think after that I was snatched by African Stars under the leadership of Mr. Mbakuma Hengari, then as a chairman. Actually I was with my younger brother Nolasius Mokhotsi, and both of us were to go to Liverpool, because I remember Oscar took us to NBC then, because he was still working there, radio. And then when we left his office, I don't know how Bakuma get to find out where I was, and then he snaked me there, and then he took me to Stars, and my younger brother went on to Liverpool, and luckily they won the league that same season, and I went to Stars. I think we came in the top 8 or so of the league. So that's what it is. And 2001, that's when I was scouted by Ted Dumitru in Marindal, and it's the same year also, Marco, that the newspaper cup was launched. That we also won as a region, Maheke region at the time. And I remember me and Mukhale were the scorers also of the final to beat Shodonchupa 2-1. Yes, very much. Because I saw there is a reporting that we won 3-1. It was not 3-1, it was 2-1. Because it was me that scored from a penalty and Mukhale from the game. So that time we also even in a national camp that our coach then Ted Dumitru would not even allow us to go sit amongst our region people. We'll just be at the VIP, and when it's time to play, we'll just be sent down to the dressing room and get onto the field. Once we're out there, we must just immediately come back. So that's how professional and strict he was, because that time we had the Marais, the Lollipops and all those guys, but then they made a mistake to go sit with their teammates from Hardap, and then they were banned not to play the next match.
For the national team?
Yes. No. For their region.
For the region,
Yes, because we're in a national camp. So I think in short that's what it was. And then my first debut for the national team was also just within a week after I was selected, because we went to Morocco to play a World Cup qualifier in Morocco. That time was the Hajis, the Noripet, Naipet, and all those guys. And
tough team that time.
Yeah. And the national team had good guys. Denzel was there as a goalkeeper. Shivute was there. Mohamed Ouseb, Robert, Ralundara Shikulu, Maneti, all these guys, Congo. So, but then surprisingly, Mohamed got injured towards the end of the first half, and the only person was me that was there, and Coach Metley had to look back and say, Marley, get ready. So it was shocking, but I managed to get into that game and played as I have been there before. So it was really a good debut, and something that I will never want to forget also. So then fast forward, I think, yes, I did captain the national team at Ekosafa in 2007 in Botswana. So I think when Robert got injured, so then I took over because I was the vice captain then, and here we are. I retired in 2009. Officially, I went to Canada for 2 years, and then I came back. I wanted to give back to football. Of course, Stars was now my first option, and then because of budget constraint, that could not happen, and it took me a night to say, what does it cost to own a club? I went to Dave Twakoze, who was then the chairperson of Commerce region. That was now 2013, Marco. And then I think in February, then he said, no, you need to pay about 35,000 for a spot. And then I called Crooks. Nono Hebu was also a chairperson of cattle country at the time. And then he said, no, you just come and pay 4,700 and then you make sure you're there every weekend to play and have balls, soccer balls also with you. So, and then so our team started in Windhoek with all the boys around the Katutura streets there, and then we were training at Semnioma. So every weekend we'll travel to Gobabes to play the second division. And then we got promoted the same year. I think towards the last 7-6 games, we have already won the league. So, and then what we'll do is that we'll go there to cut transport, cost. Then we'll play Saturday morning. We play Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. The last, I think, 8-6 games. So that's how we played. And then to cut cost. And then we went to Kietmans, played playoffs there. And then we went through, us and Flamingo qualified for the first division. And then of course, the first year attempt again in the first division, we had it within us, and then we lost it at the last day also. Flamingo, yes, Flamingo went through. Flamingo only needed to beat Bebop in Marindal. We also needed to try again in Gobabes to go through, and then we drew. They won, they went through. So, and then the second attempt, we won it. We won it very deservingly because, with 6-7 games to go, we have already won the league. So that was now 2016-17, and here we are. Since then, we have been a very formidable side in the league, and 2017, we won the biggest cup in the country. So
FA Cup.
Yeah. So
you beat Mighty Gunners 2-1.
Yes. So that's where we are now. And I think that time the team I had, I thought that was the best ever. But I think the team that we had last season also, it's all more or less the same team as at the time.
Yeah. Now, what inspired you to own a club? Because you say when your first choice was African Stars. Did you want to buy Stars, or you wanted to be a chairperson at Stars? And what inspired you to start up your own club? That's number one. Number two, who inspired you in terms of becoming a club owner and in terms of your leadership style? Who inspired you?
No, I think we read a lot, Marco. But coming back to your first question is, you see, when we came at the time, I think Tigers bought a player from Citizens for about 50,000 or so. So
that
then,
was a lot of money.
Yeah, at the time I said, no, but how does this happen? So, and then in fact my involvement was that let me start an academy, the youth teams for African Stars Football Club, that I should oversee and make sure that I scout all the talented boys to start, so that they don't need to spend so much money to buy players, because then they had Setney Martin also, who was really doing well with the club, and he was willing to do anything. But then when they asked me to bring a proposal, I brought it, and then they said they didn't have the budget, because remember I had to start with the youth teams. You need to start somewhere so that these players can grow up to the U19. I think that you can look at now maturing players to even be able to participate if his physical body or strength is allowing. So, and then this could not go because the budget was very tight. So, and then I loved football. I've done a lot in football as a player, because remember, coming from Canada also, I was also running a team of the Namibians that we won a lot of trophies, maybe close to 5-6 trophies.
In Canada?
With former players, yes. So we own a team that we called North York Rollers there. So those trophies are still in my cabinet around my house in Windhoek here. So, and then we had the likes of Lopez, Katiriwaka, Huma, very good talented boys in Canada there. And then we were winning things there. We were playing leagues with African teams, and we were winning literally everything. So this also gave me a bit of motivation also when I got here, that why can I also continue this? And then we re-time a good friend with Jomo Sono. I also a big Kaizer Chiefs fan that I really follow a lot on Kaiser Mutaung, and also what he did for the club, how the club started. So these are people that really inspired me, and that's why even today when you go and see also the documentary how the South African League 10 to what it is now, what Kaiser and Ivan Kosa did, how they took that bold decision to say no free football on SABC. It was crazy. The whole country came to there were demonstrations, there were threats and what, but they managed to stay strong and stand firm. And today their football is really at a level that one wishes that this way.
I think it's in the top 3 or top 4 leagues in Africa.
Yes.
How difficult was it to start Young Africans?
No, that was not. I would tell you now that was not, because there was a lot of players on the streets that wanted to play football. That's why I could manage to grab a lot of talent. You can talk now of Shingeka Punjiri of Tongos, Donovan Kanya, a lot of boys that came through this process. I remember Vieira was very young at the time, and look where he is today. So there was a lot of talent around the streets, and these boys wanted to play.
But they didn't have a structure where they could...
They didn't have that platform, because they were just playing in the streets. And then now when I brought them together, we had a lot. Because it would take us a baki and a kumbi to travel every weekend to Gobabes. And luckily we would not play accommodation, because then my mother's house that I've taken over now was there, and no one was staying there. So it was just a house that we would go and sleep and stuff, because then my mother was retired. She went to the farm. So the cost was mainly that we just fill up fuel and then travel, because I was using my younger brother's car, Kanuno Shikotoke. So I think this gave us a lot of energy, and I was also working, so at least I spent a lot, and I was really willing, and I think it was worth it. I don't regret ever doing for what I did at the time.
Now you get promoted to the Premier League. How did you find the competition there?
No, I think when I get promoted, that's where I lost a bit of money, because I could not understand what is going on. Because remember, first, as soon as I got promoted, there was this thing of SMSs for you to partake in a Hake King Cup. I think remember that time. And then teams needed to buy airtime and send SMSs, and then I think I went and withdraw about $80,000 from my savings
to buy airtime. To buy
airtime, so that we can partake in a cup, because I think by participating, each club was going to get about 350K. So, and then when I went to town, I think it was also winter time. I had such a big jacket, and I went with my younger brothers, and I don't remember who else there. And then I went to FNB. Then it was here opposite Nampost in town. I withdrew the cash there. So we were now going to the MTC again on this one way here next to DB and the yes, to buy now the airtime. And then on my way there, I met Brian Macari first, and then he said, "No, I think they have spent about 150 to buy tickets." Oh, then I said, "Wow,
airtime."
Yes, and then, yes, and then again for African Stars. And then again, I spoke to Ronnie at the same time. Ronnie said, no, they also spend almost 200 at UNAM. So the students are in a hall now. They are just sending this SMS. So now I was saying, do I take this and go and gamble and lose, or what do I do? So then that's how I said, no, then I'm not going to partake, because I think I won't make it.
I mean, already two guys are telling you
100%. So and then I said, no, let me just rather pull it, because then the league was about to kick off. So imagine now we have to relocate this team to Gobabes. And then it's more players, so we have rented there was at the old age home there in Gobabes, there was some 2 houses that we were renting there. So, and then I think in about 3 weeks this money was gone, because players eat, and that took a lot. So, but then like I said, I don't regret any of this, because this brought me where I am today, and I'm very proud and happy that I'm here. So,
if I had to ask you right now that for a person like me, maybe who's trying to, not me per se, but somebody out there who's watching us, who's trying to get a club, to set up a club and have it in the Premier League through obviously the proper structures, what would be the challenges that you would tell them to look forward to?
My brother, it's commitment. You must commit. If you're not committed, it will just be a waste of time. Because if anything else should just be second to what you want to achieve. Because once that does not happen, it will give you problems. And I will tell you, Marco, why I will say that is because that's why our club has been there, has done very well also within the league, and it's barely because I have nothing else comes before football to me, or young African to me.
Not even family.
Not even family. They have to wait. There is a time I went to play a tournament in Aranos. also as was part of this preparation. And I remember it was end of the month, and then I had to take a cut from my wife and said, no, just give me this money quickly, I'll come. And then I went. It was shocking because when I got there, the players were also a bit partying and stuff. Then I had to gather them to say, please stop. And then when I got there, the first draw we drew against Aranos Football Club in their home. First match the next morning, players had some drinks. So, and then they let us 1-0, and then I was saying, Mukuru Anji, what am I going to say? What did I do with the money? So luckily we won them, and then we went through, won the tournament. We won at 25,000. So it was part of gambling, but we managed to score. So, I mean, to make it. But I can tell you now, if you're not committed to it, you'll not succeed in football.
So I must stay away, yeah.
Yep. So if you have other commitments, you just pick up a phone or send someone, go so long there and see what is happening, or go there and represent. It's not gonna you're not gonna succeed in this game. You're not gonna succeed. That's why people say, but how do I do it? I'm not one of the richest or wealthiest person, but how do I? I say, no, it's just commitment. I'm there every day. I eat, sleep, and walk football. So I'm there and I understand it better, and I have learned a lot from it also, Marco, what I went through, the issue of my club at the time and stuff. So I learned through it, and I think I really want to do well. I want to leave a legacy. I want to make sure that these clubs stay on. That's hence we look up to people like the Mutaungs, the Ivan Kosas of this world. Yeah.
And there's been this belief that Namibian club owners, most of them, are there for the money. That's why we see some of these, even some of the big clubs, or even these other clubs, they come up, they play 2-3 seasons, and then they disappear. You never see those people in football again. How do we then now get people who are committed like you, who live football, breathe football, eat football, in terms of maybe the laws or the policies at NFA and at NPFL or NPL or whatever it is?
Yeah, but this is some of us people talk things that they don't know. Yeah, because I think I'm maybe one of the poorest club owner in the Premier League.
You don't
because I don't depend on football, but the little I get also from somewhere else, I put it into football, because the money is not enough. It's never enough. So it's not true that there is money into football. Because had there been money, who would have left better, would not have been in courts defending people that want to sell our houses and sell what. So these things are happening, but people don't know, because these things happens behind the doors, closed doors, and these things that we also try and keep it out of public. But things are happening. It's not easy.
Yeah,
it's not easy how we put people into debts and stuff. Please go and take this for me. I will what then this does not happen. So it's not true. Football is a costly thing, but just one day, just laugh it, just believe in it. Maybe one day things will come through. Yeah.
Let's go back to your first season. You also played in the final of the it was Deb Marine NFA Cup at that particular time.
Yeah.
You win it 2-1. Take us through that period. What was happening at Young African? You earlier on said that was the best team. You think it was the best team. What was happening with Young African then? The type of players that you had, the support staff that you had, and the fans in Kobabis, because it was packed. The stadium was packed.
100%, Marco. And I was making an example of my situation to how Chula Chula also came about.
Yeah.
When he got promoted, the team from Norway, everybody liked it, and they had the same good players that got them promoted. So it was a continuation of this young talent. So, and I think exactly what happens with us, because then we had the Balak, Hime, the Peavi, the Shinge, all these boys were very, very talented. And they stick together, because there's something that I believe also, Marco, contribute to our club's good performance, or way it is today, is that in Hobabes, I don't know whether there's a club that does what we do, because we keep our players all together at clubhouse. They got served with meals 3 times a day. So they don't pay accommodation, they don't pay meals. They got their everyday meals prepared, proper proper food. They can tell you, can ask anyone in the streets, they will tell you. So I think this has also helped us a lot because they stay united, they are every day together, and then they are in front of your eyes. You see also, and you direct them when to rest, when to what, depending on how much work you have put in. So this has helped us a lot, and I think this comes a long way from that time that those players were there when we won that cup. And I think, again, just like I said, we didn't have time because when we got promoted, we really wanted to continue that good season, that good performance, and luckily Deb Marine came up with that cup, and we also used that opportunity that some of the big giants did not partake also in that cup. Remember the African Stars, the Tigers, and who else there. So, and then we managed to pull through. Yes, Mighty Gunners has been around, but I think we were overall the best and better team at the time. And really, these are the Stima Patire, them. These are boys that really one would never erase their legacy or their names within our club, and this will go down to the history. It's boys that are maybe when things are right at the time, we will also recall them and want to award them for what they have done to the club at the time.
Why didn't you participate then in the African Champions League or the Confederation Cup at that time?
Remember, Marco, that time it was tough because there was no assistance of any sort from CAF. So it was going to be very tough. Hence now, because from last season only, CAF started assisting the clubs. They gave $50,000 from last season. Now this has improved or increased to 100,000, which is about 1.6, 1.7 our money. And actually, that's why we opted to participate. Otherwise, imagine already by now, no one is even there to say, well, let's assist this team in this manner. Not even NFA has said something in that regard. I have written to Deb Marine. I'm still waiting. I'm very positive. Maybe they might respond because I see lately they are the only people that understands football. I have also engaged MTC, and then it's like also because their financial year is ending now in September, so it was a bit late. But and then I expected even the Minister of Sports with Dino Balotti being there now, as a person that comes from football, at least to say, let's assist these clubs in this manner. And it's just all over, it's just quiet. Now I have to rely to my governor from my region and maybe the regional council to see how they can come on board to assist the club, just because it's their club, it's from their region. But what about the national government? I just had an opportunity to speak to the chairperson of the Lesotho team that was there now to play Stars and in their tournament here recently. And he told me because of no fields available in their country, that is the responsibility of the government. So the government take care of all their cost when they go and play their home matches in South Africa. From transport, from hotel, from meals. The government take full responsibility of that. So here it's different. So we'll see, but I'm still engaging here and there 2, maybe 3 more companies to see maybe if they will come on board, because remember I'm going to play a Swaziland teams. It looks very nearby, but it's costly because you're not playing at home. Had we played here, maybe it would have saved us about 300,000 to 400,000, and then we still need to go to their town, and we need about 4 or 5 days to go and stay there before we can play. So again, if we go through, we'll face a team from DRC or Mauritania, which now has to do with flights and stuff, which will cost very more money.
And to go to DRC, you probably need to go via France or via Ethiopia.
Can you imagine now? Can you imagine that? But we're looking forward to the task because we want to really do well and go to the group stages. Maybe only then people will see the seriousness in us and maybe perhaps want to see how they can assist. So, but we're very positive and hope we'll do well through this campaign.
Now that you brought the topic of the team participating at the Confederation Cup now, let's start off with the preparations before we look at the issue of the money. The preparations, how are the preparations going?
Very well, very well. We are now in our 6th week. We have done very well, and I'm very happy with the progress of the players that we have gone so far. We have got very good quality players also to add to what we had, because we never lost a player from last season. Only our Nigerian striker Obina that we lost to Kasrik Stars in South Africa, because I had to agree to release him because his visa in South Africa was expiring in November. So he needed a commitment that side of work to extend his stay in South Africa because he has houses and family there. So I had to agree to that to release him, and we released him with a small fee that we got from that club. So I appreciate that, and those are always welcome. I mean, open for him to come back if he feels so. But also at the same time, we got some very few quality players also from there. Sunday, yes. Sunday also we are expecting a striker from Ivory Coast that will arrive. And then, of course, with our local ones that we have also added, but hopefully next week, Thursday, we'll call, or Wednesday, that's when we'll have our press conference that you have a chance to see all these new signings, and then also to introduce our CAF Confederations Cup kit that we'll be using during that competition. And then we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
In total, how many players did you sign?
So far on our books, there is about 25 players, because it was not easy also, because remember the registration for CAF was closed also on Sunday, and you had to have not less than 22 players. So at least we have passed that test because we registered more than that, so we're fine. It's just that unfortunately the registration has been extended again to Friday. Had it been to Sunday, it was going to help us, because then we would have had a chance again to look at some players during the weekend's games. But yes, then we accept, because the good thing is that the registration has closed now. They will close Friday for the first leg match only in Botswana. So, and then the window on Monday again opens again for the return leg. So there's still some time
to add more players.
To add more players, especially the striker that I'm expecting from Côte d'Ivoire on Sunday.
Yeah, and then in terms of support, let's talk from NFA, not financial support, but just even technical support, advice, all these things. How much have you gotten from
NFA? No. That one I want to applaud the NFA Secretariat and its Interim Secretary General Cassius. I've got a very, very massive support there. I'm actually every day at that house, and the support I get, the welcome I get, the love I got, it's really just it's just enormous. It's just big. It's big. You want to thank Cosmos, Matthew Aikali, Jessica, Helvi, Lorraine, Isaac Amata, Tovi, Tem Isaacs. These guys have really played their part to be where we are now, because they have willingly given their all to make sure that we don't fail. Because remember, this is CAF level. It's just unlike a league match organized in Khobabes. Because CAF, anything you leak there, you just get a fine immediately, and it's in US dollars, and you don't want to go through that. That's why I said I will go to them also. I'm not going to wait them to come to me, and which I have done, and they have welcomed me very well. And anything, even Titus that just arrived recently, he said, no, anything, please don't hesitate to come and see me, so that I can see what we can do.
And at COSAFA level and as well as at CAF level, any help?
No. We have not gotten that far, but I think COSAFA will engage them, because we need to see what is it that we can arrange outside that we need of the assistance. CAF, of course, what can it be? Because they deal with the association directly, but at least whatever we need, whatever we have requested for, whatever information we want, we're getting it very well on time through the association secretariat. And I'm very, very happy and want to thank the Secretariat for the assistance.
And the other local clubs, that a club like, let's say, Black Africa or African Stars or Civics, Civics is done by now, but clubs that have participated in CAF competitions, what advice have they given to you in terms of what to expect, how to navigate certain circumstances? Because we know Africa is a jungle. It's not easy out there.
No, I think, you see, Marco, like you just said, now most of the clubs have participated a very long time into this competition. So you have stars there that are engaged, Kauta and Solomon Hay, every day on things. So they are there. They assist also in terms of moving forward or guiding. And then, of course, a guy like Tem Isaacs at NFA, that guy has
has
the whole experience with him, because he has been very long at our time when we were playing those years. I told you, as a team manager of the national team. So, and now that he's the head of operations, or I think head of competition and registration. So he's the right guy. He's at the right time now, at the right position. So he has played a very, very huge role also. And currently now he's already in Botswana with the national team. So he has gone to do some work also for me there, in terms of accommodation, in terms of the security and all those things. So really this guy has been very helpful, like I said. And then all I can think is just those clubs that are there that we're engaging in the games, at least to prepare us. I think they're also contributing. The Bucks Bagania under Disco, Rundu Chiefs also that is coming now under Agriba. So these clubs helps. Nampol also that we also engage at the time. So they have helped a lot. And I also want to thank the team from DRC for giving us an opportunity to engage them twice in preparing for this competition, because today we're playing them again at 11. So I think this is a good thing that has happened to us. I think this cup came at the right time, and that's why I'm so confident and happy that I think our preparation has gone very, very well, and I'm very positive that we will come through the first two games and then plan for the next two games, depending on whether we go to DRC or to Mauritania. But so far, I'm very, very happy with the progress of the players.
In terms of the players, we saw you have signed players from other clubs locally. Are you still going to approach other clubs as well to say, I think this player fits the profile of the player that we want to participate in Africa?
Yeah, we're still looking at that, but it's difficult, Marco, because because we don't groom players within our country at club levels. Every club wants to hold on to their players now, because when CAF decided to give this money to clubs to participate, everyone wants to participate now. That's why I'm very interested in a league this season, because people will die on the field this time around, because everyone wants to do his best. But then, yes, so far I think we have closed shop now in terms of local signings. So our focus now will completely from next week, Marco, turn on to the tactical aspects of our preparations.
Physical fitness, you're happy?
Yes, I'm very happy. Though we'll do the fitness test still on Tuesday, but I think I'm certain that most of them will pass.
And with the financial support now, how has it been coming? You spoke earlier on that you have approached certain companies. How is it? How are we in terms of finances?
It's not easy. It's not easy, because people think that there's money given and maybe it will be fine. But when you look at what you want, how far you want to go, I think people should not take it in that manner, because already when you look at our spendings just to go to Botswana from the budget that is already set, because remember we are responsible to take care of the flight tickets of the referees and stuff, depending on where they're coming from. So it's not going to be easy, and I think we'll also cover a cost of one of those match officials for close to about $1,500 US. So, and these are part of requirements at the CAF level. So I think it's not going to be easy, because the most expensive thing is the accommodation and meals, because when you spend per person per night close to 1,400, 500 to have buffet, to have to sleep per night there, and you're looking at spending 5 to 6 days in a country for that match, and for a delegation of close to 35 to 40 people, it's not going to be easy. So almost close to 400,000 is going to be spent, to 500 is going to be spent on this first trip now.
Before you go to the away.
Yes. So it's a very costly exercise, but then what can we do? We always say let football money work, do football. So, and if we have it, we'll use it up until such time that we say now we don't have. Maybe then we'll see where we can really go robust and demand money or push for money to come. But like I said, yes, we're engaging some companies, so we'll see also what they will maybe be able to offer, because remember this is a good branding, good exposure for some companies, because it's this is an international platform, this where those that wishes to join us as a kids to sponsor our kid, even at the front chest or sleeve or whatever, they can come on board, because it's an opportunity to put their name out there at an international level. So the doors are still open. Whoever thinks that they can contribute any small token will be appreciated.
Shifting gears now and moving on to a totally different topic. You've been one of the most vocal club owners in terms of how you want football to be run in Namibia. You have written several letters. I think this year alone you've written 3-4 letters expressing your frustrations, giving suggestions, and coming through. The latest one is the letter that you wrote to CAF as well as the president of the country, Madam Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Your Excellency, to highlight what you have termed sort of a systematic, systematic issues that are affecting football. Take us through that.
Yeah, I think, Marco, it's a straightforward thing. By now it's September. Everyone should be worried because football, our last season, I think we ended in May.
Yeah.
June. That's when the next season starts in the whole part of the world. So, and then once you wonder that leagues have started in the whole world, even in our neighboring countries in SADC, and to us it's quiet.
Why is it quiet?
It's quiet. No team trains. These teams that are training is just teams that are training because we are participating in these CAF games. Rundu Chiefs are still looking at preparing, so they went a foot ahead. And so is Bucks also with Ronnie that they have that knows how much it takes if you really want to do well. Hence, he has also asked the owner to maybe put arrangements ahead so that he can start early. So it's very bad because remember, Marco, these players, it means they have last gotten their salary in May. And we're going into September. So it was really a frustrating issue that no one dares to say something in the whole country. Not even from the parliament, not even from the corporate world, not even from the Ministry of Labor and Relations that should be worried, not even the new ministers of sports in the country. There's no money. The reason why football is not playing, there's no sponsorship yet confirmed.
You just say there's no sponsorship for you guys participating even in tough competitions. Yes. Why are sponsors shying away from football?
That's a good question. That's a good question, and I don't know what gives sponsors or those that are in charge of big companies so much power to. I think that's why I decided the president to get to have a background of this, because I think it's high time that the president should be able to call all the state-owned companies, CEOs, and address these issues. Because I think some employees have made these companies their own. It's about, is it Marco who's there? No, Marco is not my guy, so I'm going to turn my back on him.
So it's about who's there?
It's about who's there, and I think this should not be the case. There's a lot of dividends that these companies are paying every year. There's money lying around there. There's actually now 7 months, if you count well, to March or to February, that now these monies that were not spent need to be returned back to government. What are we doing? It's a year now. I mean, it's since March or since April. It's few months, and then there's few months leading us to that now the financial year will again close. Yeah. So what are we doing? What is the money doing? Why is the money packed somewhere and the money is not doing anything? Yeah. So it's very disappointing that everyone in the country is quiet about this thing. And every time you hear there's this corruption case of this person that is misused over 500 million, over $1 billion, and it's all we get to hear, and nothing says to say is that there is 100 million, let's give 100 million to football. And this is not good. And that's why really that letter, I had to draft penny to the president, those various stakeholders that I have penned to, trying to explain how can we be quiet? What is Senora doing? What is Nampower doing? What is Nampost, even after the big tender that they got now, going to do to football? Because these are companies we read that Nampower give his CEO is what these big bonuses after the end of the year. But why can all these companies come together, each donating even a 5 million to football? Do you know how much difference this will bring? How much life it will change into these players' lives? Because, Marco, we need now a sponsorship that will take us maybe for the next 3 seasons to play football uninterrupted. So that when you sign a player for 3 years, you pay him his salary from January to December. He gets his full salary, irrespective even whether football is played or not. At least he has a contract, there is money to football, he gets his salary. It's a pity, and it's not good that we claim to run football, but we are only benefiting. And those that runs those 90 minutes onto the field, they are not benefiting. The referees, the madams, the memes that sells kapanas there. Even the facilities we are using, people also need to make money through that. Whether it's the municipality, whether it's what, they need to generate money to keep their communities alive. So I think something must be done very urgently. I recently saw 3 weeks ago that our Prime Minister, Honorable Gurare, also invited all the CEOs of this parastatal. I think they had a workshop or something where they addressed. Why can't the same be done? Why can't it also be called together and this issue can be aired? Because I think money is there. It's not a matter of there's no money. Money is there. There is big money in this country. So please, can we please have money so football can start? Because by end of September already, then we're in October. And if I tell you clubs are not training already, so what are we going to do?
You need 6 weeks of pre-season. Minimum.
100%. Nations Cup is starting in December. Can we play during the Nations Cup also? So these are all things that we should look at. And it's very bad that really players are in the streets without work. Without this, most of them have been chased out of their rental rooms that they are renting. It's not good and it's not fair to football.
I don't know. We are talking about companies shying away from football, but if you look at a sport like cricket in Namibia, they are building a world-class stadium with world-class facilities in terms of the gym. I've seen the gym. I've seen the facilities that they have there. Proper structured things. They've got so many companies. If you go around their stadium and you see people that are advertising, they've got all these things. Why is it that at football we don't get that? I don't understand that part. That people can go and sponsor cricket, but they can't sponsor football. They can go and sponsor rugby, but they can't sponsor basketball. You know, why is it that there is a selection of sports that can be sponsored and a selection of sports that cannot be sponsored?
You're very right, because, some companies are not in the hands of the government, but I still think and believe that the government still has a responsibility towards everyone.
So it's an issue of the law?
Yes, it's an issue of the law, but sometimes law takes a process. And that's why I always admire and like the president of Burkina Faso, the General Ibrahim Traore, the president of Botswana also now. He say the system, we ought to change the system, because the system takes time for things to be implemented. Something is just a directive. Just like, FIFA does in football. Why can't the head of state stand up and say, called people to State House, CEOs of these companies, and direct them and say, listen, the reason why I've called you, I don't want to look like I'm being sabotaged within my country. I'm currently the head of state, and please, can you, all of you seated here, go around and look within your finances and see if each company cannot contribute the 5 million. Do you know how much money can come out there?
It's a lot.
And even in a week, he just gives them 10 days. And say, can you please do that? Come back to me. How much money had you raised so that we can give money to football? Football can start in a country. And when I'm talking of football, I'm talking the Premier League, the National First Division, the regional leagues, both men and female. And I think that's why I'm saying 100 million will do, because when you can raise 100 million a year, which is very easy money to raise when you look at this company. You go to Namport, you go to Fishcore, you go to Senoret, Rongoret, all these electrical companies and everything. We'll still... At ShopRite, it's difficult. The banks ought to have to give money.
We can't say it's difficult, because they are making money in Namibia. If you look at the amount of money that they make, somehow they should be able to.
You're very right, but it will take a process. It will take a process for them.
It takes an act of parliament to say, we want you to spend so much on sports, on culture, on education, on this and that and that. You just put it in the law that if you want to operate within our borders, this is what we expect you to do.
No, you're very right. But the reason why I'm saying it will take a process, because you remember ShopRite is not around from here. But we want to start football like tomorrow, Marco. So yes, it's true that law should be changed so that also in future these companies should start coming on board. I've seen ShopRite giving money, being advertised on South African Football League.
Yeah.
I have also seen Pep Store, even the same. So, but then ones wonder why not here. Nedbank is giving money to South Africa for a very big competition that they give. You know what Nedbank does in Namibia? Nedbank takes some of their customers from here to fly them to Durban to watch their final on their cost, fully paid. So if Nedbank Namibia see the need to do all this for the name of football in South Africa, why can't they also replicate this? Why can't they also give a League Cup here and name it after the Nedbank and also give money?
Part of the newspaper cup.
Yes. No, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough because newspaper cup, everyone is crying also. They don't even see what they win for, except all those perimeter boards and all those marketing stuff that is around there. We want to see these people really get involved into football. And you know, football, the cream of football in a country is the Premier League or it's a national team. So we want to see them also getting out of that and coming. It's maybe these new companies that are still emerging, they can take over there now. But Nedbank cannot go there and sponsor where the Namibians are sponsoring. They must get out there and come where the big giants are, like Dep Marine is doing, like MTC is doing. What are they doing there? FNB, the same. They are giving money to the Women's League now. And I was also disappointed to hear that their contract has actually ended. But the one wonder that why is MTC still, FNB still quiet? Why can't he just try and give back again so that football can continue at that?
As football people, are we organized and are we trusted by these companies to say they can give us their 100 million, their 5 million, their whatever millions? Are we organized? Are we trusted by those people?
Look, Marco, I think the issue of trust, of course, it's not there because it's a lot of money given and you know, for some reasons, yes, people don't trust us. It's fine. But lately now what has been happening, just like also what Dep Marine does, they pay all the service providers, then they pay the money directly to them. The only money that goes to a referee, to NFA, I think it's money for the stadiums, for the referees, for the ambulances. So that's fine because that's little money that can be accounted for. But that should not stop anyone for one to plot back into football because you can still dictate how your money should be run or be given. Because it's not like you give 50 million and then you just boom deposit it in the NFA coffers. Because of course there I can say it will be very difficult because you know NFA also has a lot of stuff that they do around them. So, and it's true that in the past there was issues that money meant for this has been first taken and used to the national team, and then when the national team money come back, then it's paid back into this vote. So yes, maybe for that reason it's fine. But what we are saying, we need money for football. So whoever is willing to assist football, whoever wants to assist those kids in the streets that has to play football, please just come on board, put your conditions. If it's really good and fair for football, we as football people will say, okay, let's go on.
But don't you think now, let's say Marco Construction comes and says, boom, here's 30 million, for example, football. Let's start football in the Premier League. You get 20 million, and then the first division get 10 million. Are we not going again next year? Are we not going to have the same problem?
No, we will. That's why, Marco, I'm saying at least for the next 3 years. We should get a commitment for the next 3 years because, you know, it will heal a lot of things. Because this football that is played for 8 months, 6 months, then it stops. Then there's fights for another 5 months. We must fight one another. Then again, when somebody must come and rescue us, we play again for 6, 7 months. These things can't continue like this. So whoever wants to bring money to football now, I think that's why I like the idea of Dep Marine saying that let's have a structure, let's have a roadmap. And I think these things are in place. Us as clubs know where we want to go. Us as clubs owners have these things in place. The problem is that also whoever wants to bring money must directly get involved the clubs in their negotiations. Because once you have 1 or 2 representatives from the association, it's not going to help because those people are not running clubs on a daily basis. They don't know our interests, they don't know our needs. So whoever wants to give money to football, make sure you get the clubs involved directly. The club owners, invite them to a meeting, ask them questions, make some notes, organize a workshop.
Do a presentation.
Yes, let clubs come and do presentations, and then if you're satisfied, let's get football to the highest height in this country.
Let's move on to the independence of the Namibia Premier Football League. There's been a lot of talk. The sponsors last year, we saw what happened in the final match. I think it was African Stars and your team playing. You are still to be corrected.
Yeah.
The chairperson, the CEO of Deb Marine, came out and said they want the league. They are willing to support the league, but they want the league to be independent from the Namibia Football Association. They also want the league to be professionalized, to be run as a professional entity. Are we ready as Namibia to have a professional league? Because I personally think we are not ready to have a professional league.
What was wrong with those words, Marco? What was wrong?
I'm not saying the words were wrong.
No, I'm saying it's like now in the public, no, he has no right to say that. They must also not forget that this person is also a football lover. Besides being the MD of Deb Marine, he also loves football. He served football also as an administrator under the Normalization Committee.
Yes.
So he has football interest at heart. Why can't he also as a person say that? So I could not understand why people had an issue with him when he said that.
Yeah, the NFA replied through Cassius Moeti.
Yeah, but that's wrong because that's now fighting. Who should supply you with this money or the funds that you need? So with some of these things, we don't do that. It's just like when the elder has told you something, whether you like it or not, you don't respond. You just stand up and get to what you're told to do, irrespective how he say it. So this is what it is. The guy is saying, let's get organized, let's get a structure so we get the money. Because he's willing to put money at a proper organized structure. And we had a commitment, besides what he said. We signed a letter that the NFA and Deb Marine went and agreed, both of them without our involvement. And then NFA came and imposed this agreement on us.
To say you guys must be independent and not point. But
it's not Deb Marine that said it to us as clubs. It's NFA that said it to us. Because Deb Marine and NFA was
coming out and saying Deb Marine is interfering.
No, that's why we also had to issue a press release contrary to what Cassius has said. But with all respect, I think also sometimes we must just come down and not just try and be reactionaries to what the sponsors are saying, because these are actually people that made us play football for some time now. So and I hope, it is my belief that they have really went on and resolved their differences after this one, and I think and believe maybe somewhere somehow Deb Marine they still open to continue to give us money to football.
But do you think as a country we are ready for a professional independent league?
No, look, Marco, what is professional? When you say professional, what is professional? Independent, I would not agree when you say, are we ready for it? Because we were independent before. The Namibia Premier League was an independent league, completely, from the NFA. They were only member associated to the association. They were running their affairs independently. They had their own disciplinary committee. They had their own constitution. They had their own rules and regulations that was governing their league. And this was done up until these fights came about. But then, again, the constitution of the NFA, Marco, says the league is independent. It's not only Mali or Young African that says that. The constitution says the league should be an independent body, just like any other member of the association. Now, when you don't do that, then that means that's contrary to what the constitution is saying.
So the NFA is butchering its own constitution?
100%. That's what it is. That's what it is meaning. But we have explained this in the meeting, and I hope we will, at the end of the day, resolve this thing so that it goes as per the constitution. And that's why we say if FIFA, CAF comes here, they will also agree with what few clubs are saying, because it's not us that is forcing. We're not saying let's go and amend the constitution for the league to be independent. No, we're saying the league requires the league to be independent. So let's move the league out. And some clubs, owners don't understand these things. They don't see the powers that they have in them. They still think that no, they must still belong to this person. How are you going to run your club better if you don't even have a say within the affairs of the league? So it's not going to work. It has not worked. It has made us to suffer all this past season. Hence, you see where we are now. So, and I think we concur with what Deb Marine is saying, because these are people that gives money, by the way. If somebody says, Marco, if you want more money, come and work for me. What else is there to look back at?
Work and get your money.
Yes. That's what, after all, that's what you are there for.
Our papers, like the constitution, the policies, are they in order?
Those things are in order.
We're in September now. If we have to be independent by October, we can run independent.
Those things are in order. Remember, we were there before. So there's documents that were prepared already for us to move out. So all we needed is just the NFA to say, give us a roadmap as to when, as clubs, you want to move to A to Z. That's the blessing that we just expected them to have, not to fight and say, no, why should the league go independent?
But why is NFA fighting to keep the league? That's what I don't understand.
My brother,
are they benefiting?
My brother,
is it the issue of power?
My brother, let's be honest.
finances?
I think the executive committee is just want to have power over football in a country. Because remember, when the league stands independent, who will be the face of football? It will be that league and its leadership.
Yeah.
So this is what is being tried to be stopped so that it does not come forth. So, but being as it is, I mean, I think the dream is still such that the league will go independent. So, and it's just that club owners maybe they will come to their senses one day so that we can come together and unite for the progress of this football, so that we can talk the same language. Yes, I think for now majority of them agrees, they understand what this is about. So, and that's why maybe we are also where we are today, because nothing also has come positive from us as club owners. We have not shown that unity, because every meeting that has to be called for everyone to come is only when the NFA calls for a meeting. But when us as club owners wants to come together, then some people are told maybe not to show up. And it's very, very disappointing. And I think these are things that really should not be that way.
That's where I was coming, that you as the 16 NPFL clubs right now, are you really focused on this goal of having an independent league? Are you talking the same language? Because for me, I think there's infights amongst yourselves.
No, you're right, Marco, because there's sides. Some people have been told not to go to these meetings when these certain people is called. And I will not mention names. Some people are told not to go to these meetings because it's this, even to an extent that tribal remarks was made. I have evidence, I got it from reliable sources that, no, this is what they are told when they want to comment on this meeting. Yeah? So what are we doing? Are we killing football? And that's why from day one I said, I thought the president of the association was the only person who will unite people in football. But because of outside external forces that are leading actually football behind closed doors, that all of us, even yourself, know who they are. This is where we are. Because that's the biggest thing that he has done. I thought he will unite, because he's coming from the background of this club. We were together when we were fighting the normalization committee on these things. So what has changed? What has changed now that the same when we do now, it's wrong?
But you see, these outside forces, we have heard about them for the past 10 years. And like you say, we have heard their names and whatever. But they don't bring anything on the table for football.
Nothing. They are actually killing.
Yeah, they've never brought. So why are we listening to people
now, that's
who are bringing nothing to football?
You're very right in asking that. And that's what we're always telling the club owners. That do you know how much power you have in this game? But people are there because and say no. Their cartel or their people or their bosses have said no, they must not support. To an extent that when you come to meeting nowadays, you don't even debate. They just want, let's vote, let's vote. How do you vote to say that you must play first round or you must play second? You must play one game a weekend or you must play 2 games a weekend. How do you vote? How do you vote? You must be able to debate and say what is the advantages, what is the disadvantages, and then agree to that. When there's also when funds are there to cover maybe these expenses that have been said. But the people just come there and say no. They are told just go there, vote. Just go there, vote. It's about numbers now.
Let's shift gears again before we incriminate ourselves on other things. The issue of infrastructure. You have suffered from lack of infrastructure for quite some time. Lehare Stadium was at one point in time not playable. The municipality had to ask you to find alternative places. You went to Marienthal. I think you came to Windhoek as well to play your home matches here. The issue of infrastructure in this country, it's a big issue. It's a major issue. You are playing Frankly today in the next few minutes, but there's no stadium. In the stadium, the fans cannot come in. We can't watch you.
Yeah, it's very bad. It's very bad.
Where's the challenge from?
It's very bad because let me tell you.
Put it for us.
If stupid I am, maybe I will ask myself. I say every day I read that Ondangwa Town Council has allocated 80 million for a stadium. There's stadiums built there in the north as we speak now. Maybe 2-3 different cities are building stadiums there. But then you say, but This is a town council like a Hopapes town council. This is a town council like a Marindal town council. It's a town council like a Windhoek town council. Why is the same is not happening this side? What is happening?
Where is the
So
ratepayers money
maybe
going
the
to?
people must come and tell us, is it because the government don't give them money to do same? It's only given on one side, or what is the issue? Hopapes, the stadium it's closed now as we speak. It will be closed. I was there now last week. The A field, even had the league started now next week, will not play football in Hopapes the whole year.
Why?
The fields are just not up to standard. Just sandy. The grass, nothing, no grass. So last time they said they would close it, they would fix it, or they renovate it, what? Nothing happened. They did not do anything. So that's why some of these things we say, is it this now political thing or what is it? Now I understand they're going to close it again I think there's NDF games being played there the whole of next week, and then after that the field will be closed. So now one again will have to see whether they will close and just water the field, or are they going to replace the grass. I mean, I don't know what happened to the Ferreras of this world. At the time we knew there was a Ferreira garden or what that were contracted to fix. So those fields, my brother, they just, when they close it like that, it's just watering and hoping that maybe the rain will come early, so that now it looks again green. And then maybe when after 2 months again of football, then again it's back to square one. So nothing is not happening. People really don't put effort into sports. People don't care about sports at all in our part of the region. Because I know even our region, Marco, at the time, it was very well known for sports and culture. But these things, we don't see it happening again. It's just going away day by day. It's gone. It's going.
So how do we deal with this issue, Marley, of facilities? Because even the national team, you are going to play outside of the country. You're going to Botswana. African Stars is going to play in Cape Town. They are using Athlone Stadium. Those are flights or transport, to put it that way. Maybe they will drive. Those hotel. It's hotel accommodation. Expensive. Cape Town is an expensive city. It's an expensive metropolitan city. Now, how do we then take so much money and improve other people's economies? Look at the Brave Warriors. 6 years now, they've been playing outside the country, and they spend not less than 800,000 Namibian dollars or 800,000 rands a match when they play outside the country. They are now in Botswana. They'll be there for the next 2 weeks. And they are spending, I'm sure, 800,000 and more.
Marco, it's the system. That's why I make you an example of what the president of Botswana said. The system. That honorable president was saying, he only has 5 years to run this country, to make sure that things are in order. He will leave a legacy. His people, he has done something to his people. But if the system takes 2 years for something to be implemented, or a year, it's a loss. It's a loss of time, and that can happen. I like what Comrade Veiko did now. Comrade Veiko was called at the hospital, Cathedral Hospital, for 10 years. No hot water there. But when he got there, he didn't need to go to newspapers to advertise tenders to do what. He just contracted the company and said, please come and put hot water. In 2 weeks, he came back and said, to come and see the progress. Why can't we do same here? I think the reason why the Independence Stadium cannot even qualify to host this type of matches, which is a level 2, it's maybe 1 or 2 minor things. But then the ministry thinks that, no, they need to fix the whole field first. But for 6 years, this has not been doing. Money was now budgeted for. There is now 6-7 months before they return this money, or they have to use this
money. Do they really return it?
Do you think that this money will be utilized? Do you think that that stadium will be done in the next 7 to 8 months, so that maybe next year we can use it to play there? Nothing will happen. So it's the system. So the system ought to be changed. We have to change the systems. We need, because we have an executive president who oversees the government. He must be given powers to pick up a phone and say, this is the directive I'm giving, and that should just be done right away. We don't need to go to parliament to pass a law to say, no, the stadiums should be done this way, or this money should be done this way. It can't go on like this. Some of the stuff must be prioritized. These are like it's also essential because it brings bread to a lot of people, youth in this country.
Also, now maybe to conclude, because we have to conclude this discussion. I know we can sit here for the next 5 days discussing football, and we won't finish the topics that we want to talk about. If you had to be given an opportunity to run the NFA, if I had to make you the president of NFA from today for the next 5 years, what would be the first 5 things that you will change?
Let me tell you, first, the constitution will change because I will become an executive president. I will become an executive president. I will not wait for a Congress. I will not wait for executive committee meeting to make decisions and then for them to be implemented by the next person that then I will have to wait sometimes and stuff. The constitution has to change. The person who runs the NFA has to be executive president so that he is daily on the NFA's work, on the NFA's office, on the NFA stuff. I think this will help a lot. I think this is what is happening. Motsepe has, I think by now everyone can see that he has even sidelined his businesses, but maybe what he did well, he has put the right people there because his business are still grooming. Money is still coming in. That's why he's still one of the richest people in Africa. But CAF, look where CAF is going. Every day there is progress within CAF. But within the NFA, the president only comes within the NFA when there is an executive meeting. He only have to say about the NFA when there is a congress. No, that's not good enough. It does not help football. Our football is very far behind. Normally when you have a non-executive president, is when you are very much organized, you have very trusted people that works around you and stuff. But otherwise, the reason why I would want to become a president of football is to fix football. Now, how do I fix it if I don't have executive powers? If I don't have, if I cannot oversee the office on a daily basis, how do I run football? How do I claim to say that I can make this football better? By waiting an executive committee meeting, which is quarterly, 4 times a year, or maybe 6 times a year, by waiting a congress that is just 1 or twice a year. How do I run football? I want to run football on a daily basis.
Okay, that's number one.
So I think that will help big.
Number one. Number two, what else will you change?
I will change a lot. I will change a lot because when you speak of football, you must bring football to the people. Football and the government should be able to sit together and be decided together. Because you cannot take football away from especially the federation, you cannot take it away from the government. And government, when I say government, I don't talk of sports commission. I don't talk of Ministry of Sport. Ministry of Sport should be the only person that should liaise between the NFA and the president's office. Otherwise, this sports commission thing, I don't know even what have they done to football, maybe to other sports code. I don't see anything positive about that commission, apparently to run the affairs of football. It's delaying everything because it's like a middleman. They don't really help our football at all. Nothing. Disputes are there, they don't even help. They only want to come in when it's a political time or when they hear there is what. It just does not help. The president of the association should be able to pick up a call and call the president and say, no, this is the direction I want to move. Once he get the blessing, these things is done. Yes.
Okay. The third one? We've spoken to now. The third one?
No, of course, then you take football back to schools. You take football back to schools, you take football back to the clubs. Marco, I'm saying the third division was unnecessary to come up with such a league. How does a 30-year-old play third division? Third division should be a developmental league. And these things of academies, Marcos Academy, it's here and it's there in the league. These things does not help. The football clubs within the Premier League, within the first divisions, within the second divisions, should be forced to have youth groups, which is
teams,
women's team, both female and men, right? And should have reserve teams. You understand? Because when we bring money, and CAF is prepared and FIFA to give money to these developments, but the problem, we don't have proper structures. Everything is focused on Windhoek. We don't have committed people outside there. If CAF or FIFA can take somebody from Canada to employ him in Namibia, to oversee CAF or FIFA things. Why can't we do same? Why can't I take a Marco from Oshakati because he's a good administrator, take him to Robabes to run for me football or development football in Nomhaike region?
I mean, the South African Premier League did that. You know, they brought Trevor Phillips all the way from UK.
Why can't we do same? So, and a lot of training. I think we lack training in our country. We don't utilize the CAF opportunities and FIFA that is there. It's a matter of applying. I see Woody is trying now with his coaching licenses, coaching qualifications that he's now started. But again, most of them, you see them also going to the north. You wonder why again. I think it's also up in the north. So a lot of things are just happening that side. I don't know why. Maybe it's them that applies. We don't apply. I don't know. So the leadership of the football in the regions should also start coming out now. Otherwise, I will advise the NFA to start appointing, because people there, they are voted by their clubs, but again, people are in love with individuals, not the game. So that's how football is also going backwards. If we start focusing and prioritizing what football itself and not individuals, I think we'll get somewhere. But this should be done. The NFA should come up with strategies and modalities how best we can bring back the glory days of footballs in the regions, because I think we're lacking there. That's why most of the regions don't provide players to the national team now. We're crying now. But imagine how many players Omaheke did promote at the time, how many players Hardap and Karas did promote at the time. Today we don't have players from Karas region, from Hardap, that plays in the national team. Who are they? Where are they? Omaheke, nothing. I mean, I cannot talk of Lloyd. I cannot talk of Charles, because these are established players now that are nearly also coming to. Where's the new ones? Where's the new ones? Then later, if players are selected from Hopsol of Colin, then they say players are only selected from Windhoek only. What are we doing in the regions?
Nothing.
Yes.
So that is the Coca-Cola tournament that you're talking about.
100%.
That used to think. All right, now the final one in terms of commercializing football. What would you do? Because football is an industry. It's $1 billion industry. What would you change the commercializing?
You connect the clubs with the corporate world. You connect the clubs with the corporate world. You connect them because remember there is also an issue of repetition. I mean of the rules and the how the corporates also wants their name to be protected and all those things. So you need to connect them. You need to bring workshops between the corporates and the clubs, because I think they are interested in bringing money to football, but the problem, they also want their brands to be protected. So how do we do that? Only those two can agree on these things, because NFA president cannot go and talk on behalf of Young African. That has to carry that brand of Marco Investment CC in your chest. I should have the benefit of that agreement. This is not disclosed to clubs. That's why you see the other day we have to chase some sponsors for branding our fields, because we don't know. No one was approached. We were not approached that. Now suddenly, because I'm playing this team now, boom, Marco wants to come and brand my whole field. I said, but I just last weekend had 2 games here and no one came. Why now? So all these things should be a discussion, a workshop that should take place, that this is what we want, this is how we want clubs to move forward. There's a lot of things, even the grants that we're getting. I'm always advising that these grants be given on a monthly basis, because it will help. And this is what the banks want, because we also have a lot of money that goes around within the accounts of the clubs that the bank ought to assist the clubs with overdrafts or maybe with bus financing. But the bank says your money comes 3 months, your money comes 4 months. So there's a trust issue here. So that's why we say all this should, at the end of the day, benefit both of us. You pay my money from the 25 on each month. I pay my players or my service providers end of the month. Every month there's a sign that there's money coming in, and then there's a sign of money going out. So that's how that's what the banks wants for them also to be able to build a relationship in terms of them assisting you. So there's a lot of things that needs to be changed. But yes, the plan is there, Marco. We don't want people to use this opportunity to steal what we have. Just give us an opportunity to also engage. We know what it takes to be able
question,
to.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Would you be interested being NFA president in the future?
Of course, why not? I mean, football for life.
You know that you'll have to leave Young African.
That's fine. That's fine, because look what Motsepe did, but still Sundowns is still doing well. So why should I be afraid? A father of 3 sons, I still have younger brothers, I still have my daughters that I think they can do well, like the Jessicas, the Bobby Mutaungs. What is wrong? Or the Topi Motsepe. So that's fine, because look, Marco, I always say it's always good to leave people better off than you find them. And if we don't take responsibility by trying to own and say, let me go and lead, it still will not make you a better person, even if you want. My dream, it's fine to want to take my club there, but overall it should be the league that should benefit. It should be all the clubs also that should learn through that. So if I have an opportunity to lead the association, I will not shy away from that. Why would I? Because I think it will help more the clubs than only bringing my club up to that level. So there's no crime that will be committed in that.
Yeah.
I'm a football person. I lead a football club that I have done so very well with the little resources, and I think
you can do better. Even
I can do better when such opportunities prevail. And today, I'm one of the clubs in the country also that have gotten 6-hectare plot from the municipality buying. So again, I'm dreaming. When I see that place every day, I will pass by that. I always have that picture of Naturena village. That I've been there. I always have that picture of Istanbul Buyekshire, that is a club in Turkey that Rasi played. I was also at their facility. So is Sundowns in South Africa. So these things are always coming. So this is the dream, and I hope soon it will really be achieved.
Marley, thank you very much for giving us your time. I think we don't have enough time to
Yes.
continue talking about this. But thank you very much for coming through. Good luck with the Frank later on today. Good luck with the tournament that you're organizing for the weekend with the Rundu Chiefs, Bucks Buccaneers, and so on and so forth. We call upon all you fans to go and watch that particular one over the weekend at the Independence Stadium, and make sure that you support the local guys. Let's go there and see what the clubs have to offer for us in terms of football. My name is Marco. This has been another super edition of Game Time with Marco. We shall get him back again next time just to talk about a lot of other football. But for now, bye-bye.
Thank you.
PST Bet is now available in Namibia, Botswana, and DRC, bringing you the thrill of sports betting to you. From the biggest football matches to high-speed action with Aviator, My Lucky Seats, and casino games, we bring you non-stop excitement at your fingertips. Enjoy cash back and cash out, giving you more control over your bets. Live betting on your favorite sports with real-time action and instant wins. Sign up today and start winning. PST Bet. You play, we pay.